Charleston County School Board chairwoman Kate Darby is running for re-election. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And listen to this interview later on iHeartRadio. Kate Darby, it's so good to see you again.
Good to see you always.
I appreciate it greatly. Well, I got to talk to you about some developing news.
Okay.
As you know, last night, the Charleston County School Board named a law firm to address the Marvin Gapper situation.
Yes.
And you've actually hired an outside law firm to do this. Can you share with the public what else will happen next?
Well, I think I want to share with the public, as we talked about last night, is that we feel like the board as a whole feels like this was a horrific incident, and we want we've hired outside counsel so that they can have a really arm's length view and find out exactly what happened, when it happened, and who knew what happened, in an effort to prevent anything like that from happening again. And also, we've had a couple of groups contact us about wanting to do an investigation, the legislative delegation, the State Department of Education. And so that the person who's doing this research will be able to provide their findings to those groups. So that's really what's going to happen next. So I want people in the community to know that we take it very seriously, even though those of us who were not on the board or in a staff position at that time, we want to really find out what can be done to make sure that never happens again.
And let me move over across town here to Burke High School. I know there were some issues with the AC units there. Can you catch me up and tell me what's going on now? Yeah,
sure. So somebody posted on Facebook about they were really appreciative of their kids sticking with it through the AC being out, and so staff checked into it. The AC unit was not working at full capacity over an area that had 13 classrooms. So similar to my air conditioning in my office, it just wasn't at full capacity. So it was reported a teacher reported it. Actually, a couple of different people reported it over, about a 2-week time frame, and it wasn't followed up on quickly. Once staff was made aware, they addressed it. So the AC was working throughout the rest of the campus fine, but on this one building, it was not working at capacity, which in a Charleston summer definitely is too hot. So it was resolved once staff found out about it. They should have done something quicker, and so we've asked Mr. Browy just to follow up to make sure that part isn't falling down on the job. I always encourage, there's a process to report things that aren't working, and I think if somebody reports something and it isn't getting fixed, they need to follow that chain of command and say, hey, we need to get this fixed. So it has been resolved, though.
And let me go right next door to Stonyfield. What's the future of Stonyfield in your mind?
Well, I know the district, we've made a commitment in working with the city to upgrade Stonyfield. We've got a couple of different options for how we want to fund that.
Sure.
But our hope is that we will be able to make some definitive decisions on that sometime this year about what exactly is going to be done to it. I know they want to upgrade it. I'm not much of an athletes person, so I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but that is in our plan.
And with your athletic stadium in Mount Pleasant, are you content with that?
I'm very excited about the District 2 stadium, and I'm excited because we're going to have a similar stadium in District 4. I was there for the opening of the stadium, and it is a great community facility. There were tons of people who were there for the football game and the band, but there were also a lot of people there for the food courts and the food trucks and that kind of thing. So I hope, I think it's a great facility, and I think that the D4 stadium will be the same. And I'm excited for our communities to have, this level of sporting fields. Some people say, oh, we shouldn't worry about, the sports so much. But I know when my children were in school, they played sports, and we would go to other communities in South Carolina, and they always had much better football stadiums and much better baseball field. All that was better. So I think, the community has said we want to have good sport facilities, and the district is following up on that.
Let me stay at East Cooper because I've interviewed
Yes.
all the candidates for
Yes.
that particular seat, and obviously you're incumbent.
Sure.
Why, Kate Darby? Why again?
my husband asked me the same thing. So I am running again, and this would be my last term. I'm not going to run for anything else or any more after this 2018 election. And the reason I'm running again is I feel like we've really gotten started, some momentum on some things. The reason I ran 4 years ago were two things. One, I really wanted to see the district make some headway with student achievement and the achievement gap that we have between white and privileged people and black students primarily. That's where the big gap is. And I think we're making some headway there. And I want to see that, we're fully integrating our schools and that we have equity across the district, because we don't right now. I mean, you're in and out of schools. You probably see some of that. So I feel like we've started, and I want to see that finished. And then I wanted to see us really work as a board on the whole board governance piece.
Okay.
And I feel like we've made some progress there, but we're not yet really, as a school board, operating as a true governance board, where we should be focused on what the district is doing and the staff should be focused on the how. So because I feel like we've started those two things, I want to see us finish or make some more progress on that. And so that's why I'm running again. I feel like I feel like we've gotten a lot done in the last almost 4 years.
Right.
And I think we can do a lot more. And I just would like to see some of that progress a little bit more.
What is your relationship right now with the Upper Charleston County School Board members in your mind?
I feel like I have a good relationship with the other school board members. We don't, for the most part, we don't always agree on things, but even if we disagree, I think we still can have some, you can have discord, but it's not, you can still be nice to people and still work together with people. So, on any elected board, you really do have to work with the other people on the board. And we definitely have board members that have, different views on how we should do things. We have some people who feel like we should be more involved in the day-to-day operations. And so I do get frustrated sometimes when I feel like, people are working against what we're trying to do, but I'm sure other board members can sometimes get frustrated with things that I'm trying to do. My goal is to focus on the students each and every day, to focus on the students, give them the resources that we need, and I'd love to see our board focused on that all the time. I think that if we were, we would really see some momentum behind some of the things that we need to do to improve schools.
Does the public trust this school board?
I don't know. But people who talk to me say they do. I'm sure there are people who don't, for whatever reason, they don't. I think that in the 4 years that I've been on the board, we've been extremely transparent about things. We recognized that we had a budget shortfall. We immediately told everybody about it. We told everybody what we were doing to fix it. I feel like we've been really upfront and transparent about issues that we've had. Sometimes things get represented maybe a little bit differently, sometimes in the media, it's just how people interpret things. I would hope that people do trust us. We have a big budget that we're responsible for, and I think we do try and really make decisions based on what's best for our students and best for the taxpayers. So I would hope that they trust us. And I've had people who contacted me, and they haven't had a concern or a problem about something, and I am happy to dialogue with people about that, or sometimes I can get them connected to somebody else who can solve a problem. If somebody just wants to be mad at the school board and doesn't want to dialogue about how we can fix things, I can't be a whole lot of help. But if I've had a lot of people over the past 4 years who've reached out, had an issue, and we've worked on it and resolved it. So I would hope that if somebody distrusts us for some reason, that they would let us address what that is. Ask us and say, I don't trust you because of X, Y, Z, or whatever, and let us talk it through.
Let me get back to the Young Clement Rivers law firm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust that vote as far as hiring them as an outside consultant?
Well, we actually didn't vote on it.
Okay.
The staff has the authority, our counsel,
Okay.
Nallihan, has the authority to engage outside counsel, and that is what she did weeks ago.
Okay.
When this information came up about the particular former employee, and the State Department asked the district some questions.
Okay.
And so she interviewed or talked to a couple of different law firms, wanted to get a law firm that had the capacity to do the kind of research that we need. I mean, this is something that happened 4 years ago or so, and we need any and every law firm could provide those kinds of services. So she looked at a couple of different firms and ended up talking with Wilbur Johnson at Young Clement, and I support her decision in doing that. I think I don't see why they can't accomplish what we need to accomplish. We definitely needed a third party to be doing that investigation, and I think right away the superintendent and the attorney Natalie felt like we needed to have a third party to do that. And I think the majority of the board in our conversations yesterday felt that they were supportive of that decision.
What's good within the Charleston County School District?
Oh, there's lots of good things. We gave teachers a raise this year. We worked really hard to do that, and we had almost all of our teacher positions filled at the beginning of the year, and that hasn't always been the case. So I think that was really positive, and we're phasing in that increase, so they'll be seeing a pay increase over the next 3 years. And I think if they don't, we want our teachers to feel like they are valued. We want them to be the highest paid in the state. We want them to have the resources that they need. Other good things, we're going through an accreditation process. Those folks were here yesterday and today, tomorrow, and it is a super rigorous process. I mean, the staff has been working for probably a year getting together the documents and stuff. And another good thing that I think is going in the district, and again, this has been in the 4 years that I've been on the board, is we've really revamped our whole alternative programs or student discipline.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we used to, the first year I was on the board, I remember somebody did a report to us, and 50% of the children at one of our local high schools were getting suspended. 50%. And so, and we had one code of conduct that was for kindergarten through high school.
Sure.
And that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you're a second grader and you spit on somebody's shoe is different than when you're an 11th grader and you spit on somebody's shoe. So they've broken that up to be, grade level specific. We now are doing PBIS in all of our schools. We're doing restorative practices in some of our schools. We're trying, kids who are caught with a drug or alcohol violation are getting help, not just necessarily getting suspended and in trouble. So there's lots that has happened there that I think is positive, with a focus on keeping kids in school and giving them the opportunity to learn. Another good thing, you asked me, I'll go on all day. The early college that we opened last year, so we had our second class start this year, and the kids that started last year as 9th graders, this year in 10th grade, they're taking dual credit courses. So when those kids graduate with their high school degree, they'll have an associate's degree as well. So and that's huge.
Yeah.
So those are some of the good things that are going on. There's more. There's tons of great things going on. But those are just a couple that I think are really exciting. I think we're doing more to try and get our high schoolers and working with the Chamber of Commerce on what employers need, so that our high school kids can focus on getting out of school to either then get a job or go to college. So we're doing more with that. So there's a lot of good stuff.
That is so great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Chairwoman Kate Darby, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it too.
Anytime.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank